Welcome to Let Your Light Shine, the podcast where we illuminate the path to your best self. I'm your host, Dajonna Richardson, and I'm so excited to have you join us on this journey of empowerment and self-discovery. Today, and in each episode, we'll dive deep into the themes inspired by the book, Let Your Light Shine, Unleashing Your Inner Glow through essential self-care practices for empowered women. This podcast is for anyone seeking to cultivate their inner glow, embrace their power, and truly let their light shine. In our conversations, we'll explore different topics that resonate with women and girls from all walks of life. We'll discuss the SHINE method, practical and transformative self-care practices like sleep, proper hydration, tuning into our intuition, and nourishing our bodies while remaining fully engaged. But that's not all. We'll also delve into cultivating joy through hobbies, practicing grace, forgiveness, and engaging in activities that make our souls light up. Each episode features incredible women who share their stories, wisdoms, and insights. They're entrepreneurs, creatives, professionals, mothers, daughters, all shining examples of how embracing these practices can lead to a fulfilled and empowered life. So whether you're looking to ignite a new spark in your life or fan the flames of an existing one, Let Your Light Shine is here to guide and inspire you. Remember, for more resources and information, you can always visit lightshinebook.com. Let's get started and explore together how we can all let our light shine brighter. Join me, Joseline Richardson, in this empowering journey. Here's to letting our lights shine together. And now, let's dive in to today's episode. So now you're looking for a job, you're going to be studying for the bar exam, you're going to be moving because you're going to go back to your hometown in DC, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about how you're going to take care of yourself and how you've been taking care of yourself, right? Because
Sure.
we want to know how you let your light shine. And we know that S stands for sleep. So tell us, how do you make sure you maximize your sleep and make sure it's deep and restorative so you can go out and fight the good fight?
There is a saying that early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And it's not necessarily, wealth comes in a number of factors. Obviously, you need wealth to money to generate and live. But I think the other thing is I'm a very natural based person. So I'd like to share that I use sea moss and bladder wrap capsules. You can find these online. Sea moss is amazing for your skin, hair, energy. And I'm a person, I will take, a couple of vitamins every day. I usually try to drink some like alkaline water or just get my normal 70 ounces, 70 or, whatever more ounces of water. And I try to go to bed at a decent hour and then I get up early. I think I'm more productive when I have a set schedule. So most times I'm in bed by like 10 p.m. And then most times I'm up about 5 a.m. And I know that's seems like that's early, but for me, watching the sun rise, especially being in Colorado, that was always one of my bucket list items is to live in Colorado. So I got to do that. And watching the sun rise, I live in Boulder, so you can see like the, mountains or flat irons. It's one of the most beautiful scenes. And for me, doing that is sort of a mental moment for me because I can breathe, I can take it in. And I think it's really important to be in nature, to be connected. And also in the morning, I play meditative music. So, like harp music or piano music or something that's just very soft and has a like a really slow melody that kind of helps me sort of wake up, spark what I'm gonna do for the day. Sometimes, most times I do like a morning prayer or meditation, but I think that is so important because if you do it when you first wake up, it's so much easier than trying to do it as the day goes on and you're rushing. And as you know, and as listeners know who've gone to law school, the day is so compounded with so many things. You've got classes. If you're involved in any activities, you've got that going on. If you are doing an internship, if you are applying for job applications, if you've got to meet with professors for office hours. And so, so many things get compounded that if you don't take the moment to stop and reflect, then the day's over. And then you've got all of these things and you haven't had an opportunity to just kind of breathe and say, I'm grateful for another day. And here's what I hope to accomplish today.
Yeah, that's great. I love how you explained that sleep is not just about what you're doing before you go to bed. It's about what you're looking forward to in the morning, setting yourself up for a great day. So when you lay your head down to sleep, you can do it in peace. That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and CMOS, I don't mention that in the book, so that's a great tip. You're the first person to mention that. CMOS is very popular in the Caribbean, where my family is from. They make
Yeah.
drinks out of it, and it's seen as a health drink. So we drink all kinds of things: Mabi, sorrel, this and that, all
Oh,
the
I love
herbs,
sorrow.
everything. Yeah, sorrel is. Oh, I love me some sorrel. So that leads into hydration. You talked about alkaline water, which is nice because it helps to kind of detox your body.
Mhm.
Sorrel, is a nice it's like hibiscus flower, basically. In the
Absolutely.
Caribbean, we mix it with ginger and it's really sweet. But if you want it to be a health drink, take out all that sugar, right? Leave the ginger in there and it has a nice floral sweet taste. And if you don't sweeten it or use a non-nutritive sweetener, then it doesn't add all these calories. I like to drink it at night. Like sometimes I have a glass of wine, but I'm trying to like, okay, I want a clear head in the morning, right? So I'll drink sorrel instead because it has that nice red bright flavor. What else do you do for hydration and keep it interesting?
Usually, I try to drink coconut water. I'm a big, coconut water drinker. I think that's really important. I've started doing aloe vera water because that's pretty good. Living in Colorado, the air is dry, which is another factor. I mean, it's beautiful, but it is like sort of desert mountain where, at least where I am, I'm about 5,000 feet above sea level. So I'm closer to the sun, but further away from water. And for the most part, I don't really drink a lot of carbonated waters. I'm more of like a tea based drinker. I love all kinds of tea, doesn't matter what kind. And I found that that's really good. I know green tea is like good for energy. And my boyfriend is Trinidadian. So he is like hipped me to some like Trini drinks, like peanut punch, which I think is another
Oh yeah,
popular.
I love peanut punch. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. That's why I was like, where's all this Caribbean influence coming from? Now I know. Okay. But teas are good too, especially I've been to Colorado. I was in Denver and Aspen. Very beautiful, just like you said. But yeah, the air is thinner and the air is drier. And so you really have to make sure you adjust your daily routines to whatever area you're in. Because I'm in Florida where it's hot and humid, right? But the thing is, when I go inside, the AC is always blasting. So for me, I need to stay warm. I don't like drinking anything cold if I feel cold. So I love tea for that purpose, especially herbal tea if it's later in the day and you don't want caffeine and you just sip on that. But the best way to stay hydrated is to drink something you enjoy that's not hurting your body. So we definitely want to stay away from juices and things, but coconut water is great for the hydration, has a nice light flavor, electrolytes.
Exactly.
So now let's talk about intuition because you've had to rely on your intuition, girl. You were,
Sure.
you know, organizing your building. If I'm like, listen, girl, try to get this all to do this stuff. And then moving to a brand new city, right? And you said you've always wanted to do that. So how have you like developed this trust in your intuition?
I am somebody, I believe in the power of prayer, and I also believe in the power of just trusting that if you want to do something, you're going to have to go out on the limb and have faith to do it. But when I told my family I was moving to Colorado, they were like, how many people do you know? You don't know anybody in Colorado. How many people color are in Colorado? So, they were worried about that. And I was just like, I don't know anybody, but I'm sure once I get there, I'll make friends and there will be opportunities for me as a person of faith. I'm just like, it will be provided. And so that's what happened. But I think with intuition, I think everybody, you get that gut feeling and you just know that this is something that's going to work or you have to do it. And then you have to trust in that. I've never been somebody who's like, well, I am not sure or I'm not going to do something because I don't know. And I think that it takes a lot. I think it takes a lot of trusting. I think it takes a lot of learning yourself. And I would credit that to being a teacher too, because as a teacher, you've got to make snap decisions. You've got 20 children in the classroom depending on you and you're teaching and then you've also got to pay attention and make sure things go well, but more importantly, if something goes wrong with a child. I remember one time I had a student who she was eating lunch and she started choking. And I had to sort of like, kind of do the Heisman, like, maneuver on her and kind of get it dislodge her throat. I didn't have time in that moment to like call the nurse because her airway was closing and I had to think quickly. Unfortunately, she's okay. But then afterward, I emailed her mom, just let her know, like, this is what happened. And so that's one of those factors where you have to make a snap judgment. And I think that was a muscle I learned a lot and exercised a lot as a teacher, which very much so helped me in law school. I think the field of teaching and education and law very similar. It's a lot of high stress, long hours. You've got to make quick decisions. You've got so many deadlines and things coming up. I don't think that if I had gone directly from undergrad to law school, that I would have been as successful or prepared as the formative years that I had in education.
Wow. The Heimlich, man, I had a lot of fights to break up and, the tensions and things. But wow, that must have been scary. But like you said, you just trust
It
yourself
was
and
so
like,
scary. I was like, "Oh my
yeah.
gosh, like, what am I gonna do?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, if I don't save her life, like, I'm gonna be on 5 o'clock news."
I didn't know. Especially when you same thing with teachers and lawyers. Something happens on your watch. It doesn't matter whose fault it was. You're
Exactly.
gonna be the one who's gonna be held responsible. But yeah, that is a good point. That 1 year of teaching, I'm like, I ain't scared of nothing after this, boy. You can't scare me. Another guest said that too. She said after she figured out how to teach middle school, she said, if NASA got a program right now, I'm going for it. I got this. Nobody has the confidence to test you like kids in the classroom. Because
Oh
they're
my
like, it's 20
gosh.
of us and one of you. So you better get it together. So yeah, you're right. So but wow, that's what an inspiring story. Because there's a lot of people listening who are, they're afraid to move city. You moved you know, whole states and just a different part of different time zone, different climate. And
Different
like you said,
everything,
yeah, you coming
culture-wise.
from Chocolate City
Yeah.
to Boulder, Colorado.
It was a very big shock. I did go into culture shock for a minute, and I think that was simply because I had never in DC, it's more so everybody looks like you. And having had that experience to go to a completely different world was mind blowing, but I think it also helped me to grow because I have friends who are also like native Washingtonians and, generations. On my dad's side, I am like the third or fourth generation. And so you have people who have lived and have never left the DC region, like ever. And so for that, it is interesting because then you're like, okay, wow. So I think that like being able you have most people migrate to DC, right? They come from other places and they have that experience. But for most DC natives, they might not go past, New York City. If they feel really good, they might go to Miami or Atlanta, but they are not moving coast or states away. And I think that helped me to grow, mature, and also just see a different part of the country that I might have never experienced.
Yeah, so that's great. So now let's talk about the nourishment and engagement. They're usually related, right? How do you nourish your soul and your body and engage? Do you get to take beautiful hikes? What does the food look like? Because you said you're all natural girl. Talk to us about that.
Sure. So, yes, to the hikes. And even that's hard because sometimes you're at the law school all day. So that I try to do that like on a weekend, just going for walks. I think the other thing is I'm not someone who really, I think the food industry in this country is vastly different than elsewhere, anywhere else. So I am more plant based and I don't really do anything outside of that for various reasons because I'm like, I'm fueling myself. I need this energy. And I found if I do something that's not like prior to me transitioning to the plant based lifestyle, that it was just so much harder to kind of keep up levels, feeling tired, feeling drained. And I transitioned into that. Controversial figure or not, I believe in a lot of the things that Dr. Seeley had to say about just knowing eating seeded fruit and vegetables and things that are native to either the region where you are and eating seasonally. So, for example, I won't eat strawberries in the wintertime because well, strawberries don't really grow in the winter unless they're GMO. And which is a lot of people don't know this, but the Queen of England is also similar in her own thinking, where she didn't eat anything that was not in season before she passed away. So I think there is something more so about being connected to the environment, and that helps fuel your body, your mindset, and I think helps you become more mindful of animals too, and the planet.
Yeah, I've definitely heard a lot of the stuff you're mentioning, working on it. I was plant-based for about 3 months because I wanted to see how my body felt different. And some things got better, some didn't. And so I still am trying to navigate, especially as you age, right? My body is changing. I've had 2 kids now. My hormones are doing different things. And
Right.
so things I used to be like, I grew up eating a lot of rice and beans when I was younger, and I was able to digest it. But man, I eat beans now, and it's a no.
Yeah,
It's
and
like, it's a no. My body's like, "No, we can't do this anymore." So
and
I don't know
that's so true. And the thing about that is I I figured I for me, I try not to do the white rice, but I'll do like like the Haitian black rice is amazing with mangoes, chopped mango and everything like that. So I think it's more so about like finding other grains there. Couscous. I mean, you just gotta find something else that works. And same thing, like I grew up, my family has some Creole influences from like North Carolina, and my grandparents grew up in the South. So like rice is a staple, Like my grandmother has a saying, she don't trust people who don't eat rice. It's like,
yeah, if we go to an event and there's no rice, we're like, "Wait, what? What's happening? Why y'all got something against rice?" Because we don't like, I don't Haitian people like with, rice, so we love, like, Asian foods because there's always rice, and they use seasonings, they use very similar yeah, yeah, that's a good
um,
saying.
Yeah, so it's, so it's just one of those trying to find something, that very similar because it is such a, it's a staple. You can eat it with anything, you can season it anyway. And so just trying to do that and find, I think with whatever we're doing, just trying to find something that's still like you want most people eat that's connected to their culture, right? And something that brings you memories. And I think that's important. My first year here, I was really homesick. And my grandmother just overnighted me something she made in foods. And sent it via FedEx, and I was so grateful. It just made me feel connected, and that's another part of, keeping your mental and your strength and everything like that is connecting with your family, your friends, and reach out to them if you are like, oh my gosh, like I'm struggling, because, they're there. Everybody is, put on this earth to connect people.
Yeah, so that's a great place to end. We're all connected to one another, so make sure that when we're doing self-care, it's not just about us individually, it's about our community. Because I forget who said it, if it was bell hooks or one of the great women academics, that this whole idea of, rugged individualism is not only is it not true, it's not working. No culture
Right.
has really embraced that except the United States. And so this was this grand experiment to see if it worked. And it's like, yeah, it's not working. Self care is a
Exactly.
community project. So, any last words for our listeners?
I would just say really try to make sure that you are doing something that makes you happy. Set aside a moment to self reflect and take time for yourself. That's so hard to do when you have so many other competing factors. Live well, eat well, and just try to take care of yourself, because you only get one body. You don't get to, go into a factory and exchange it, at least for now.
Girl, that's what I was going to say. Not yet. As of right now, this is the body, this is the vessel carrying your soul. So let's take
Exactly.
good care of it. All right, girl. It was so nice speaking to you. Thank you for joining us on the Let Your Light Shine podcast.
Thank you for having.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next time. As we come to the close of another enlightening episode of Let Your Light Shine, I want to thank you sincerely for joining us today. It's been a true joy and privilege to share this space with you and our inspiring guest. Before we part ways, I'd like to leave you with a small nugget of wisdom to carry with you. Remember, the light you hold within is a beacon of hope, strength, and beauty. It's uniquely yours, and when you let it shine, you not only illuminate your own path, but also light the path of others. If you've been inspired by our conversation today, I encourage you to explore more at lightshinebook.com, where you can find additional resources and support on your journey to unleashing your inner glow. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with someone who might also benefit from its message. Remember to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode of Let Your Light Shine. As we say goodbye for now, remember that every day is an opportunity to embrace your power, cultivate joy, and most importantly, let your light shine. Until next time, I'm Joseline Jean-Louis Hardrick, wishing you peace, love, and light. Thank you for listening, and keep shining bright.